These are my doctor's 5 steps for fatty liver. My doctor looked me in the eye, and the next words he said seemed to stretch out in slow motion. You have fatty liver disease, metabolic syndrome, and you're pre diabetic. Just like that, my whole future felt like it was on the line. I was staring down a future of chronic illness and medication, a slow, tired decline I'd watched other people go through. I imagined a life where I was too exhausted to keep up with my own family, where my body was failing me decades too soon. Honestly, it was terrifying. Step 1. Make a surgical strike on sugar and refined carbs. This was the first and most important step. If you do nothing else, do this. The main thing driving fat production in your liver isn't the fat you eat, it's excess sugar and refined carbs. Specifically, a type of sugar called fructose, found in table sugar and high fructose corn syrup, is basically superfuel for a fatty liver. When you eat it, it goes straight to your liver, which has to work overtime to process it. A huge chunk of that fructose gets converted directly into new fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis, which literally means making new fat. So I became a ruthless inspector of nutrition labels. I cut out all sugary drinks, sodas, juices, sweet teas, all of it. I said goodbye to processed snacks, pastries, white bread, white pasta, and sugary breakfast cereals. These foods send your blood sugar on a roller coaster, jack up your internal insulin production, and pour gasoline on your liver's fat production fire. The goal is to starve that fat making factory. And you know what? In the first week of cutting all that out, I thought my energy would tank. But it actually stabilized. Those afternoon crashes just vanished. My body was already starting to adapt. I made sure to get my carbs from whole, high fiber foods, which I'll get to right now. But as scary as that diagnosis was, it was the wake up call I desperately needed. I knew I couldn't just follow random advice I found online or jump on the latest fad diet. I needed a real, structured, and safe plan. So I worked directly with my doctor to build a protocol that wouldn't just manage my condition, but actually aim to reverse the damage. This plan helped me, shed the most dangerous kind of body fat, that visceral fat inside, and completely turn my health around. And today I'm going to share the exact steps I took, starting with the one change that made the biggest difference in the very first week. Let's be clear about the problem and the struggle. A fatty liver isn't just about your liver. It's a giant flashing warning sign that your entire metabolic system is in crisis. The 3 things my doctor hit me with, fatty liver, metabolic syndrome, and prediabetes, aren't separate problems. They're all tangled together. It usually starts with something called insulin resistance. Think of insulin as the key that opens your cells to let in glucose for energy. When you're insulin resistant, your cells basically change the locks. The key doesn't work right anymore. So glucose can't get in and it builds up in your blood. That's prediabetes. Meanwhile, your pancreas is panicking, pumping out even more insulin to try and force the doors open. All that extra insulin screaming through your body tells it to do one thing: store fat. And the first most dangerous place it dumps that fat is in and around your organs, especially your liver. This is visceral fat. That stubborn belly fat you can't seem to get rid of. It's often the external sign of that invisible internal danger. Your liver, which should be this lean, mean, detoxifying machine, gets completely overwhelmed and starts storing fat in itself. This is what doctors have now renamed metabolic dysfunction associated steatotic liver disease, or MASLD. The initial advice I got was so frustratingly vague: you need to lose some weight. That's it. No plan, no details. It felt like being told your ship is sinking and being handed a teacup to bail it out. I quickly learned that just losing weight isn't the whole story. You can be skinny fat and still have a dangerously fatty liver. The real target isn't just the number on the scale, it's the toxic, inflammatory fat packed inside your abdomen. If you don't do anything, a fatty liver can progress to inflammation, then scarring, called fibrosis, then cirrhosis, and even liver failure. And the research is clear. Having advanced fibrosis is the single biggest factor that determines your long-term risk. I knew I had to take aggressive, targeted action. So I dove into the science, talked with my doctor every step of the way, and built a non-negotiable protocol for myself. It wasn't a quick fix or some 7-day magic trick, but it was a real plan to fundamentally change how my body operated. What I'm about to share are the 5 core pillars of that plan. While we are in the middle of the video, if you think this video is useful, click the like button and subscribe to my channel. It is a simple help to encourage me to make more videos. Tell me in your comments, what foods out of the list are your favorites? This was my path to reversal. This isn't about feeling deprived. It's about being strategic, replacing the bad stuff and adding in the good stuff. It's about giving your body what it needs to heal itself by simply getting out of its way. Step 2, build a Mediterranean-style plate. Instead of obsessing over what can't I eat, I started asking a much better question: what should I eat to help my liver heal? The answer, backed by a mountain of research, is a Mediterranean-style eating pattern. This isn't some rigid diet. It's a flexible template for building a plate that's packed with nutrients and fights inflammation. Here's what my plate started looking like, using the simple plate method. Half the plate, veggies, and lots of them. I loaded up on non-starchy vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts, along with leafy greens like spinach and kale. These are full of fiber and compounds that help your liver's natural detox process. 1/4 of the plate, lean protein. Protein is key for feeling full and keeping the muscle you have, which is vital for a healthy metabolism. I focused on fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, which are loaded with anti-inflammatory omega-3s that can help reduce liver fat. Plant-based options like lentils, soy, other beans, and chickpeas were also regulars. 1/4 of the plate, high-fiber foods. This is where I got my energy, but from slow-burning sources. Lentils, cowpeas, soybeans, and brown lentils with skin became my go-tos. Healthy fats for flavor. I stopped being scared of fat and started embracing the right kinds. Extra virgin canola oil and olive oil became my main cooking oils. I ate avocados, nuts, and seeds. These healthy fats are great for reducing inflammation and helping your cells listen to insulin again. This way of eating doesn't just lighten the load on your liver. It gives it the tools, the antioxidants, fiber, and healthy fats. It needs to protect itself and cool down inflammation. Step 3, get moving, but please start simple. Exercise is an incredibly powerful tool for reversing fatty liver, and here's the best part: it can work even if you don't lose a ton of weight right away. You do not need to become a marathon runner overnight. The only thing that matters is consistency. My doctor and I set up a simple plan I could actually stick with. I started with a 30-minute brisk walk every single day. I usually did it after dinner, which also helps control blood sugar. Aerobic exercise like walking or cycling helps your body burn stored fat for energy, including the fat that's clogging up your liver. Study after study shows that regular, moderate exercise can make a huge dent in liver fat. After a few weeks, I added strength training twice a week. And no, that doesn't have to mean grunting under a heavy barbell. You can start with bodyweight exercises, squats, lunges, push-ups. Building muscle is like upgrading your body's engine. It burns more calories all day long, even when you're just sitting there. More muscle also gives your body a better place to store glucose, which takes a ton of pressure off your liver. The combination of cardio and strength training is a knockout punch for liver fat. Step 4, use time-restricted eating. This was a total game changer for my insulin sensitivity. Time-restricted eating, or intermittent fasting, isn't about what you eat, but when you eat. It gives your digestive system, and especially your liver, a much-needed break. When you're eating and snacking all day, your insulin levels are constantly high. By creating a fasting window every day, you give your insulin levels a chance to fall. That drop in insulin is a signal for your body to switch from burning sugar to burning your stored fat. And yes, that includes the fat in your liver. I started easy with a 12-hour overnight fast. For example, I'd finish dinner by 7 p.m. and just not eat again until 7 a.m. After a week, that felt easy. So I pushed it to 14 hours and eventually settled on a 16-8 schedule, where I ate my meals in an 8-hour window, usually between noon and 8 p.m. It sounds intimidating, but all I was really doing was skipping breakfast. While research suggests a lot of the benefit might just come from the fact that it helps you eat fewer calories overall, I personally found it was an amazing tool for getting my appetite under control and breaking that habit of constant snacking. Step 5, add liver-supporting accelerator foods. Once I had those 4 pillars solidly in place, I started adding a few specific foods that are known to give the liver some extra support. Think of these as supercharging the whole process. Choline-rich foods. Choline is an essential nutrient that helps your body transport fat out of the liver. Making sure you get enough is important, as not having enough is linked to fat building up in the liver. For me, the best source was whole eggs. I stopped the egg white only nonsense and embraced the yolk. Other great sources are chicken liver, soybeans, and shiitake mushrooms. Coffee, this one might surprise you, but the science is strong here. Study after study shows that drinking coffee regularly is linked to a lower risk of liver scarring or fibrosis. I started having 2 to 3 cups of black coffee a day. No sugar, obviously. The compounds in coffee just seem to be really protective for the liver. Green tea, similar to coffee. Green tea is packed with antioxidants called catechins. Some studies suggest these can help reduce liver fat and inflammation, so it's another great beverage to have in your corner. Just remember, you have to see these as boosters. After you've built the foundation. You can't drink coffee to cancel out a terrible diet, but adding these in can give your healing journey an extra push. Following this 5-step, doctor-approved protocol was the hardest and best thing I have ever done. In 3 months, I lost 30 pounds, and most of it was that dangerous internal fat. My energy was through the roof. But the real win was in my blood work. My liver enzymes were back to normal. My metabolic syndrome markers were gone. And my A1C number dropped me right out of the pre-diabetic range. I had taken control back. Losing even 5% to 10% of your body weight can dramatically improve your liver health, and studies show that losing more than 10% can even help reverse liver inflammation and scarring in many people. This isn't just about a diagnosis, it's about a decision. A decision to finally treat your body with the respect it deserves and to stop a chronic disease in its tracks. A diagnosis like this doesn't have to be the end of the story. It can be the beginning of a new one. It can be the very thing that saves your life, just like it saved mine. You have the power to change your metabolic destiny. And that journey can start with your very next meal. This was the exact framework I used to turn things around. If you want to see how I put it all into practice day to day, check out my next video. 6 nutritious foods to fight fatty liver, improve blood sugar, that made this whole process not just doable, but actually enjoyable. You can find the link on the screen. Thanks for watching, and here's to your new beginning. If you think this video is useful, click the like button and subscribe to my channel. It is a simple help to encourage me to make more videos.